please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Tucker versus Moseley.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Good day. Ms. Tucker.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're here today for your son, 1-year-old Keandre Tucker.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you say you're unsure whether a man you've been in a sexual relationship with or the defendant's deceased son is his biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Tucker, you're also suing Ms. Moseley for $3,800 in Social Security benefits.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Moseley, you tragically lost your son, Eric, a little over a year ago.
Yes,
I'm
Your
so
Honor.
sorry. And now you say you've barely had time to grieve, and Ms. Tucker is coming after you for money.
Yes, Your Honor.
Furthermore, you claim she's not the first woman to try to pin paternity on your son, and you have proof he did not father little Keandre.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Tucker,
Yes.
please take me back to this relationship. Why is it you are so certain that Ms. Moseley's deceased son is your child's father?
Well, from the time that me and Mr. Andrews was together, it wasn't on no relationship type. It was just that we was just messing around. When I met him, I did have a boyfriend, so, you know what I'm saying, I was sleeping with 2 people at the same time, but it was more frequent with Mr. Andrews. And when I met him, I remember the exact date as if it was yesterday. I met him February the 6th. It was on my best friend's birthday. I actually have a calendar that I can actually show you too as well.
Jerome, will you hand me this calendar, please?
From February 6th all the way from the 14th through the whole month, I was having sex with Mr. Andrews more frequent than I was with the person I was with. On March the 16th, I went and found out I was pregnant, 5 weeks, going on 6 weeks.
So in blue is when you discovered you're pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the 6th is when you started being intimate with Mr. Andrews.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're saying throughout that whole month, you were intimate with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you counted back, and in your estimation, it was when you were sleeping with Mr. Andrews.
Yes.
But you were sleeping with the other guy as well, without using protection?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Moseley, is there any possibility, any at all, that your son could be the biological father?
Your Honor, I'm here today for answers. I tragically lost my son, my best friend. I wear him on my heart every day, everywhere I go.
I understand.
And I just come to court today for answers.
This must be very difficult. You know, you're trying to grieve, you're trying to work through life's tragedies, and then you also have to contend with this petition. It could be tough, and yet at the same time, if in fact little Keandre is your son's biological child, that would be a grandson for you as a part of your son's legacy. So please just tell me briefly, why do you have doubts?
My son never mentioned Miss Tucker. He had 4 other kids that he was very open with me about. But who is Miss Cleo Tucker? He never mentioned her.
And so it's your feeling that my son has been honest with me about so many things, including other children he's fathered. How could you not know anything about Miss Tucker?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so that confirms maybe that your son had the doubt and you have the doubt as well.
Yes, exactly.
So Miss Tucker, when you found out you were pregnant, who did you tell, or which person did you think was the father?
Well, when I first found out, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be upfront with both of them. I went to Mr. Andrews first. I told him first, like, hey, look, I'm pregnant or whatever, so what are we gonna do? Actually, before I even went and took the pregnancy test, he was the one that made me go take it, because before, he said, hey, you're pregnant. I'm looking like, really? Like, I felt like I was being trapped, because he told me I was pregnant before I even went and took a pregnancy test.
Mr. Andrews?
Mr. Andrews.
So Miss Moseley, did he tell you anything?
Your Honor, my son told me nothing. I found out of Miss Cleo Tucker's pregnancy through his friend. His friends called me Auntie Vonda. And he said, Auntie Vonda, you know Cleo is about to give birth to Eric's child. And I was like, who is Cleo Tucker?
And that's crazy for him to say that, because even during my pregnancy, like, he used to call my mama's phone and check on me. Hey, is Cleo okay? Send me some ultrasound pictures, but I ignored him because I'm upset. And it wasn't nothing. Reason why I feel like he probably didn't go back and tell his mom about it is because it wasn't no real relationship thing. It was just like, I stepped out on my boyfriend to be with Mr. Andrews. I made a mistake. That was true. But he did check on me. He actually wanted to be a part of it, but I was so upset with him that I just shut him out completely.
Okay, so Ms. Moseley, you know, you and your son were very close. It just strikes me as strange that he would never mention this, and Miss Tucker is saying he was calling and checking on her, and you didn't hear a thing until the best friend said that to you.
Correct,
And did you
Your
confront
Honor.
your son?
Yes, I did. First of all, he was incarcerated at the time, and we spoke every day. On this particular day that I found out, when he called, I got on him. I was like, Eric, what's going on? Are you about to have another child? And he said, Mom, she is wild. She's a stripper. She performs private parties.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So, do you think he was in denial? Because actually, every reason you just gave doesn't preclude him from fathering a child with her.
Just as I said, he said she was wild. And
For the sake of argument, she could be wild, out there, working at the club, what have you. But if he sleeps with her without protecting himself, there is still a possibility that he can father a child with her.
Your Honor.
So, Miss Tucker, you admitted there was one other guy, but now Mr. Andrews has told his mother that you are kind of living a lifestyle a little out there.
I mean, he can explain of how I'm living my lifestyle, but at the same time, you have to look at this. This man is with me day in, day out. Like, it was like nonstop to the point where he'll never go home. He may call, but I'm day in and day out with him. And throughout them days we was together, yeah, we was having sex. But
Well, I don't question whether you had sex. I don't question you were together, and I don't question that he was coming around. My question is, were you sleeping with more than just that other guy, your
No, it was just
boyfriend?
them two.
Just those two. So, Ms. Moseley, did your son talk to you about any of his other children?
yes, let me tell you, his first child, he was so excited. He came home, he said, Mom, I'm about to have my first child. He was at the hospital during the delivery, he cried. Then the second child came, and he talked about the baby, took pictures, and then came the third child, the first girl. He was so excited, but he was incarcerated at the time. And he called and said, Mom, you got to go and see my little girl. So I went to see the baby, and it was so amazing. She looked just like him when he was born. But again, who is Miss Cleo Tucker? Why is it that I never heard of Cleo Tucker? Why is it that I never heard of Cleo Tucker?
Why do you think this is, Miss Tucker?
Well, honestly, we both been lied to, because the kids that she just pointed out to you, he didn't even tell me about them kids. I found out about them at the funeral. When I met Mr. Andrews, he told me, I asked him, I said, how many kids you got? He told me 1. A week later, he was like, you know what, I really like you. So he told him, I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually have 2 kids. I never knew about the little girl because me and her mom was pregnant in the same year. Our baby 6 months apart. So he wasn't being real with me or his mother.
All right. So all during your pregnancy, did anyone go to doctor's appointments with you?
No.
And
I
did
just shut everybody out. I was like, it's just me.
you shut the other guy out too? You didn't let him come to doctor's appointments? He wasn't there for the birth?
He would call just like Mr. Andrews would. I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Let me come with you. Let me come to the doctor's appointments with you. Let me see your ultrasounds. I want to be a part of this too. But I was too stuck in my feelings, and I was like,
You were angry and upset and hurt. So at the birth, nobody. No one's on little Keandre's birth certificate as father.
No, Your Honor.
All right, so you have the baby, and what happens then?
After I had my baby, that's when I got in contact with Miss Moseley. We on the phone. She like, oh, nice to meet you. She heard about me through the friend that was correct, and I told her about Kendra. She said, well, Mr. Andrews just got out of jail or whatever. And I was like, okay, so let me try to contact him so he can come spend time with Keandre. Never happened. It took him 3 weeks to come see my baby. This is a newborn baby now. He was angry and frustrated with me because when he was incarcerated, I wasn't sending him no money, writing him, but at the same time, he had to understand, I'm here pregnant with a child. I have to prepare this future for me and my baby. I don't have time to be sitting here trying to take care of you when you in jail when nobody's helping me with my baby. That's why he denied my child, because I didn't help him.
So, Ms. Moseley, why do you think Ms. Tucker is bringing you to court?
For the money. She wants a check. She wants a check.
Explain.
Well, I was still mourning, and I'm looking on Instagram, finding pictures like these of my son and her son together, and I'm not even sure if he is his son.
Let me see that. Jerome, will you hand me that evidence, please?
And she's not the first one to come forth claiming that her child is my son's. There was another girl that claimed that her son was his. We had the DNA and found out he was not his. And Eric felt strongly that he wasn't. And this is the same message he gave me.
So you feel like the same thing is happening over again?
Yes.
When you see that screen, do you see a resemblance?
Honestly, I do, Your Honor. And again, that's why I'm here, for answers.
So, Ms. Tucker, I have to ask you, in fairness, did you post a split screen of your baby and the other possible father as well?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
And why did you make that choice?
Well, honestly, when Keandre started getting older, I started seeing more of Eric in him. And just like the calendar I handed to you, it made more sense to me. And I was like, this got to be this man's child. It has to be. And I just want to comment on what she said, like coming after her for money. It's just not even all about that. Like, I've been taking care of my child. Even when her son was here, he wasn't trying to help me. And for as in coming after her for money, I've been taking care of my child since the day he was born by myself. Like, I actually came up with a breakdown of how much I actually just spend on him a month just
Jerome,
because.
can I have that, please?
On Pampers, diapers, and everything, and I do this by myself, and I feel like, okay, you his mama, so can I get some type of help? He's not here no more.
So you have a breakdown of monthly expenses, baby formula, clothes, childcare, totaling $400 per month.
And that's just of half, and I think that's only fair.
And so the basis of your suit is that you would like half of that amount to be
Your Honor.
covered by Ms. Moseley.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that would be $200 a month for 19 months.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so $3,800.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Moseley, do you have any receipts? Have you participated at all with this child in terms of care?
Without proof, why would I? When a young lady comes up to me and claiming to be pregnant by my son and he's gone, the only way to prove that is through DNA. I can't take her word for it.
Absolutely.
That's true as well.
I understand that, and I think she should as well.
I understand that, but if you actually look at her son and look at my son, they have resemblance. It's there. You can't ignore it. His ears, for example, his smile, his dimples. Everybody can see that. I just feel like it's only
Ms. Tucker,
right.
do you also understand that she would just want to be sure she's already lost her son? If she then embraces this beautiful grandbaby and says it's her son's child and ultimately DNA proves that it is not, it will feel like another loss for her. So she probably is also guarding her heart in the sense that she just wants to know before she would invest financially or emotionally. Can you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
All right. I think we're ready for the results. Are you?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Good. I think it's time. Jerome? Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Tucker v. Moseley, when it comes to 1-year-old Keandre, and whether Ms. Moseley's deceased son, Eric Andrews, is the father, it has been determined that Mr. Andrews Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. In the case of Tucker v. Moseley, when it comes to 1-year-old Keandre, and whether Ms. Moseley's deceased son, Eric Andrews, is the father, it has been determined that Mr. Andrews is the biological father.
I was right.
That's all I wanted to know.
You look happy.
I am. I still have a piece of him and Keandre.
Now, Ms. Tucker, as it relates to your suit for $3,800 in Social Security benefits, it's something you'll have to go back to your home state and apply through the Social Security Administration. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, but further, I am almost positive, looking at her face, that Ms. Moseley is definitely going to be there for you and make sure little Keandre has the life that she wanted her son to have, because that's his legacy, okay? Now, I have to ask you, would it be okay if Grandma saw the baby in my chambers?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll meet you there. Court is adjourned.
Here you go, Grandma.
Oh, hey, Keandre. Hey, sweetie.
How does it feel?
It feels great.
When you look at him, do you see your son?
Yes, I do.
You see Eric?
Yes, I do.
And I know that has to be a beautiful feeling.
Yes, it is.
I wish you the best.
Thank you.